Hello students, welcome to our second session of your third module. In our first two sessions, we discussed what is fundamental analysis, what is EIC framework, and we got introduced to what is technical analysis. Today we'll discuss what are the tools available in technical analysis. So far we have understood that technical analysis includes all those techniques of analysis or the way you analyze a particular script or a stock with regard to several considerations which were made by Charles, or what we call it as Doe theory, right? So here in this case, you actually analyze the movement of share price in the market, right? So there are several tools to analyze the movement of stock prices in the market. So first is charts and second is indicators. In today's session, we'll understand what are charts and what are indicators. Charts. Charts are graphic presentations of stock prices. They also have the following uses. First is that it spots the current trend for buying and selling, indicates the probable future action of the market by projection, and the last is shows the past historic moment. Right. Let me explain you this slide. I hope we are all aware what a chart means, right? What actually it means. Charts are nothing but in a particular graph, you plot the price movement. You plot each and every day's price movement, and you see if the stock prices are moving upward, or you will also see if the stock prices are moving downward. If you take a large amount of data, you will definitely find something cyclical. Once it goes to the top, again it comes back. This cycle keeps on continuing in the life of a stock or a script or a share, right? So, if say for example your Yes Bank shares, Yes Bank shares and Karur Vysya Bank shares have gone down. They are trading at 25 rupees to 27 rupees as of now. So you can analyze that the purchasing trend will, you know, there will be a purchasing trend in the market right now because the share prices cannot go any low. This is the rock bottom. They have actually reached the rock bottom. Below this, a share cannot be traded. I mean, the share prices cannot go down. So this is the time when you need to purchase a stock, right? Also, this price movement, it would have taken 6 months for the share price to start from growth, maturity, and then reach decline, right? All those steps or the cycles of industry will also apply here, right? There will be certain days, a certain number of days for a share or a script, right? So you clearly understand how many days it will go up, how many days it will come down. This future action can be predicted as of today. Suppose if share prices are too high today, you can anticipate that it will go down in a near future because that's how it had performed in previous circles. The same circle or the cycle will be applicable here also. That's what charts actually mean. If you plot the price movements of a share or a script on a graph, you can see a cyclical flow of share prices. This cyclical flow will be continued in future. This is the assumption of technical analysis. The share prices will always move in a stipulated pattern. Next, basic concepts underlying chart analysis. So under chart analysis, there are two concepts. First is trend. Second is relationship between volumes and trend. What are trends? Trends are nothing but stock prices yeah, as I told you, the stock prices will actually move in a particular form or format. If it will reach a certain price, for example, imagine there is a share. The least price in which that particular share was traded, assume it to be some 20 rupees, right? The highest price in the market for that particular share was, say, some 500 rupees. So if the share price goes up to 500 rupees, you can easily assume that it will go down in a near future. Also, if it reaches 20 rupees, you can assume that in the near future the share prices will go up. So this cycle keeps on continuing. That's what they actually mean by trend. Stock prices tend to move in fairly persistent trend. The price movement continues along a certain path until it meets an opposing force arising out of an altered supply demand relationship, right? This is what I explained. After it reaches 20, you know, it was going down. It was somewhere around 500 rupees. It started going down, going down, going down. On one fine day, it reached 20 rupees. After reaching that, opposing force will start. It will start increasing the prices because the demand for that share when it becomes 20 rupees will be very high because everybody knows that it can not go any down, right? It has actually reached the rock bottom. There are no chances that the share price can go below 20. So at that point of time, more people tend to purchase that stock. So they start bidding at 20, and then this, the demand increases, and with a certain amount of supply, the share prices will also increase. This is what they mean by trend. Next, relationship between volume and trend. Volume and trend actually go hand in hand. When a major upturn begins, the volume of trading increases as the price advances and decreases as the price declines. So this is what I explained just now. So support and resistance level. When I discussed about a particular share in the last example what I gave you, the support level is nothing but 20 rupees, right? And the resistance level is 500 rupees. So let's try to understand this. It is difficult for a share price to rise above a certain level, that is called as resistance level. It's like the highest price which a share can be traded in a market. That particular share, it need not be there's nothing called as a resistance level or support level for all the shares. It depends on each individual share, right? There are few shares which are traded at 70,000, 80,000 rupees. Also, there are few shares which are traded at 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, right? It depends on the industry and the organization or the company, right? So support and resistance level will be different for each of the sector or each of the script or share. I gave you an example, and I think that would suffice to understand this. The support level, the fall in the price may be halted for a time being, or it may result even in price reversal. In this level, the demand for particular script is expected. So when it reaches 20, the demand for that script is expected to be more. People start demanding that particular script, right? In resistance level, the supply of script would be greater than demand because when it reaches 500 rupees, everybody wants to sell that share because they know that the prices will come down. Further rise in price is prevented. All right. Selling pressure is greater and the increase in price is altered for time being, right? This we have under. Next is moving average. Moving average, I think we have a fair idea even from our PU or 12th standard days. We had this extensively in statistics paper. Anyhow, we'll discuss this. Moving average. The word moving average that the body of data moves ahead to include the recent observation. The moving average indicates the underlying trend in script. Alright. For identifying short-term trend, 10 to 30 days moving averages are used. In case of medium trend, 50 to 125 days are adopted. To identify long-term, 200 days moving average is used. Alright. Okay. Moving average is very simple. It's like, imagine there will be imagine there will be some okay, let's assume 360 days are there in a particular year, right? What they do is that every first 30 days, from starting from day 0 to day 30, they'll add all the data, all the share prices of each and every day. Share price as of day 0, share price as of day 1, share price as of day 2, share price as of day 3. It will continue so on till day 30. They add everything and divide it by 30, right? This is moving average for the first 30 days. Now, they'll start from initially they started from day 0. Now they'll start from day 1. Day 1 to day 31. Next, it will be day 2 to day 32. So this is how moving average works. They take 30 days data in case of short term trend. Similarly, 50 to 125 days for medium term trend, and for long term trend they require 200 days. If you guys have any doubts with calculating moving average, please let me know through Postomobi app. I'll probably show you an example in a Excel, right? So this is how you can plot moving average. So if you look at this white graph, right? White graph is the actual prices, actual share prices. The red line, what you see, it actually moves somewhat similar to white line, but it is little blunt. That is 21 days moving average. When you consider the green line, this is 50-day moving average. And if you consider 200-day moving average, that is yellow line, right? So if you see, every day there are so much of fluctuation, but moving average actually shows you the uh, a general trend of that particular script, right? So buy and sell signals are provided by moving averages. Moving averages actually tell you when to buy and when to sell, because if you look at that previous slide, the prices are moving in a particular cycle, right? It goes down, again it comes up, it goes down, again it comes up. So when it comes down, you need to know what to do. When it goes up, you need to know what to do, right? This is a basic idea of moving average. Moving averages are used along the price of script. We have seen that white lines, or the white lines in the graph in the previous slide. Stock prices may intersect the moving average at particular point, right? Next is one of the important concept, which is relative strength index. So relative strength index was developed by a person called Wells Wilder, right? We'll see what is relative strength index. Initially, relative strength index was developed by a person called Wells Wilder, right? That we have seen. He actually wrote a book in the year 1978. The book is called New Concepts in Technical Trading Systems and Commodities. Initially, it was in a magazine. Now, what we call it as Futures magazine. That was nothing but the commodities magazine. So it came into picture in the year 1978, right? So it is basically like an oscillator indices, right? You know, you guys understand what is an oscillator, right? So it is relative strength index is actually like a momentum oscillator. It measures the velocity and magnitude of directional price movements. In what momentum is the price moving? What is the rise for each and every day? At what rate is the price moving? Is it increasing or is it decreasing? Both, right? That is the momentum. So RSI actually helps us to compute the momentum. It takes into consideration the higher and lower prices of closing on a very previous day or previous cycle. Usually we take a 14-day framework to calculate RSI. So RSI is basically like a momentum understanding thing, or a tool which helps us understand the momentum of a particular share. At what price is it increasing or at what price is it decreasing? When can we expect it to turn the market, right? It identifies the inherent technical strength and weakness of a particular script or market, right? RSI can be calculated for a script by adopting the following formula. I've given you the formula 100 minus 100 by 1 plus RS. What is RS? Average gain per day divided by average loss per day. If share price is falling and RSI is rising, a divergence is said to have occurred. Divergence indicates the turning point of the market. This is nothing but when the share prices hit the rock bottom. Previous to this day, it was actually decreasing, but RSI shows that the share prices will decrease. But after it reaching the rock bottom, it will actually increase, right? So when this divergence occurs, there will be a turning point in the market. RSI is calculated for 5, 7, 9 and 14 days. 14 days is actually what we follow on a general note. If RSI crosses 70, there might be a downturn and it is time to sell. That is the highest point what a share price can reach. If the RSI falls below 30, it is time to pick up the script. So this is one type of chart, technical chart, that is head and shoulders chart. On the technical analysis chart, the head and shoulders formation occurs when the market trend is in the process of reversal either from bullish or bearish trend. It's like, imagine a share is selling at 50 rupees, which is the least price of that share, right? It will start at 40, it will start increasing, it will go to 50, 60, 70, and one fine day it actually reaches 150 rupees, which is the head, that is the highest position. After reaching that, it will start declining. Again, it will reach to 40 on some point of after some point of time, right? This pattern, if you look at it, it looks like head and shoulder. Head being the highest position, shoulders being the least prices, right? Also, this pattern can be bearish. The example what I give you is of bearish trend. It can also be a bullish trend, wherein there is if you look at the highest price, that is 150 rupees, the share prices tend to fall to 40 rupees, that is the least price. After that, it also increases till 150 rupees after some point of time. This looks like ulta head and shoulders, right? A characteristic pattern takes shape and is recognized as reversal formation, right? Formation of the pattern: left shoulder, price rise followed by a left price peak followed by a decline, right? Head, price rise again forming a higher peak. Right shoulder, a decline occurs once again followed by a rise forming the right peak which is lower than the head. This is the next level, right? So this is about your technical analysis. Now we'll try to understand what is the difference between technical analysis and fundamental analysis. This is a very important concept. So fundamental analysis analyzes the financial strength of a corporate company, growth of sales, earnings, and profitability. They actually see the financial performance or financial stability. That is fundamental analysis. Technical analysis actually focuses on the attention of past history of prices. So if you look at this, the fundamental analysis means that you closely analyze the financial strength of a particular share or share of a company, right? You analyze the financial statements of that company, you analyze what are their dividend payout ratio, how the economy is functioning, how industry is functioning, and everything. But technical analysis just focuses on the past history of share prices. What was the previous high, previous low, right? Next point, fundamental analysis estimate the intrinsic value of shares, establish long-term values. Technical analysis may predict a short-term price movement, right? This is very simple. Fundamental analysis actually uses so many tools, right, to analyze the price movement or price fluctuation. However, technical analysis is for a very short period of time. Fundamental analysis, if you analyze with fundamental analysis, it will be for a greater period of time. You can, that works forever, right? But technical analysis will be predicted for short term. Next point, fundamental analysts are of the opinion that demand and supply for stocks depend on underlying factors, EIC framework, right? Technicians opine that they can forecast supply and demand by studying price and volume of trading. This is very simple. Fundamental analysts actually analyze the share prices using EIC framework. That those are the factors in which they analyze the share or a script. However, technicians actually opine the forecast of demand and supply by using the past history of prices. Right? Fundamental analysis appeals primarily to long-term investors. Technical analysis appeals mostly to short-term investors. So here I've given you a video link which you can access. They have clearly mentioned what is technical analysis and fundamental analysis. Still, if you guys have any doubts, please feel free to reach me